President of Integral Recruiting Services. And we're here today with Pete, our Vice President, and more importantly, we're here with Christy George, who is from Nonna Digital Marketing, who helps us with our search engine optimization and amongst other things. And Pete, do you want to describe the relationship that we have with Nonna Digital Marketing?
Well, we brought Nonna Digital Marketing into our picture as our team because I hate SEO, search engine optimization. It is just painstaking for me to do that kind of work. I don't know what every hashtag should be. I don't know what the trends are. I don't know what's going on at any given time. I don't know how the Google rules change. There's too much to know. And because I do everything else around here that nobody likes to do, I wanted to dump the search engine optimization part and find a good partner who was smarter than me. And that's what we try to do. Focus on the strengths that we have and let people who can do it better, do it better.
I love that. And I love that you hate SEO, but you still recognize the need for your company and that you needed it for your brand. I meet all kinds of people, different business owners. Some, like you, are wearing all the different hats, and they say, I'll handle it myself, right? I'll install a plugin. I love hearing that one. And put some keywords in, and it'll be all set to go. And then there's others who say, I don't need SEO. We get all our business from word of mouth, referrals, and we don't need SEO. Some even tell me they don't need a website, which I cringe at that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I love that you recognize the need for your company and that you sought out a professional. The reality is, if you're running a company in today's world, you really need a digital marketing presence. You need to be out there. And I love SEO, so obviously it's what I do every day. And I tend to rant about SEO or search engine optimization when I get excited. So that's why I have my notes here, so I can stay focused and hopefully not take us too far off track. But I first fell in love with SEO because of its complexity. So SEO, search engine optimization, it has both an analytical side and a creative side, which I love because I can use both sides of my brain that way. But I'd like to explain to people that SEO is really a manipulation. So when we have a website, we can manipulate it to really tell search engines what is it that your company or your brand does, sells, the services or products. And so one example I like to give is a competitor example. If Puffs wanted to be found for online, if they needed a better search engine presence, they could actually optimize their website for Kleenex, and I would suggest that because Kleenex is the commonly known, nobody uses the word facial tissue, we all refer to it as Kleenex. And so you could actually optimize the Puffs website in a proper way with a good strategy for the word Kleenex, and you could actually be found and even rank above Kleenex, their own brand. You could actually rank that Puffs website above Kleenex if you do all the right things. And so that's really fun to me, and it's interesting, and it's really an art, to try to do that.
Well, I'd like to say that is totally what a brand emissary is all about, and that's really cool.
Yeah. Another thing a lot of people hear when they think of SEO is keywords. That's usually a buzzword. And while that is a big part of SEO, keyword strategy, there's so much more to it. So there's technical SEO, it's making sure your website is mobile friendly, that it's fast, that your images are optimized to the right size. There's link building, so finding the right external and internal links to your site. There's local SEO, so trying to find different listings, local organizations, putting your brand out on different maps like Google Maps, Bing Maps, for an example, or even Apple Maps. There's all different facets of optimization and tasks that go into SEO. And the main idea or purpose really of SEO is just trying to stay relevant. And kind of give a corny example, it's like we do with our kids, right? We look up the trends, or we look up the words they're using, the lingo, and we try to be in their face and be present, right? So we look like we're cool and then we know what we're doing. Maybe it's just me, but it's no different than with a website. So doing all the right things to keep your brand, keep your website top of mind when people are looking. And just one thing I'll close with on that is I had an old boss who used an analogy, and I actually still use it today. I love it. But he used to say, having a website without an SEO program is like buying a new car and locking it up in the garage. So why would you do that, right? So you spend all this money with a company, build a website, and now you're just gonna hide it from the world.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because with SEO allows your brand to get out in front of new people and the right audience. If you're not participating in SEO, then your website's stagnant, it's sitting there, and the only people visiting it are really the people that you're maybe sending a direct link to.
So Christy, who would need SEO? I mean, our company needed it, so who else would need it?
Well, the easy response would be everybody needs SEO. As I mentioned before, everybody needs a digital presence. When somebody does a search query on Google, in milliseconds, Google's finding that perfect response, right? They're trying to please the user with their search query, and so you want to be relevant, you want to be top of mind, and you want to be consistently updating your website so that you can be in that the top of the search query. For example, we recently did an article, why should I use a recruiter? If somebody was searching for why should I use a recruiter, and you hadn't updated your website, let's say in 2 years, you're not going to be the one that Google shows, right? You're not going to be displayed on the first page. However, about 2 weeks ago, we created that article, and now you have more of a chance to show up on the first page of Google, and hopefully even in a featured snippet. And that's really what we're trying to gain when we answer a user's question. And that is really a big trend for this year, for 2023, is answering user search queries. So if somebody's directly typing in a question in the search engine, and you have a page of new content on your website that answers that question directly, then you have a better chance of staying on page one for that.
Okay. So, and Pete, we boosted that.
Yes, we did. Yep, on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things I didn't want to have to do. So thank you for taking the care of it. And then also, you know, you get the opportunity to study the analytics, and while I'm a really analytical kind of person, I don't know a good number from a bad number, and you see things in it, you think they're fabulous, and I'm thinking like, oh, is that all? But you actually understand what the
Sure.
response and what the connectivity is. And you know, back in the day, I knew if you sent out a survey and you got a 10% response, you had a good day. So apparently that works the same with search engine optimization.
Absolutely. The main thing to keep in mind is being consistent. And so even if we're able to do a little piece of a marketing program, let's say it's social media 1 month, or new content a different month, the consistency is key, and just staying top of mind, staying relevant. And that really leads me into my last topic that I want to talk about, and that's the cost of SEO.
We have been so excited about the return on investment as it relates to our organization. Can you explain to us what the cost is for the types of services that you offer?
Yeah, I mean, services can range for SEO in a wide variety of range. I mean, I have large corporations with retainers on a monthly basis, and then I have companies who have smaller marketing budgets. It really doesn't matter the budget that you have for SEO, as long as you're participating in some kind of facet. As I mentioned before, if you have a website and I built it for you 2 years ago, and you said, I don't need SEO, we're just gonna manage it ourselves, we're gonna just leave it out there. That's exactly what you don't wanna do, right? You're not gonna show up, you're not gonna be relevant, people aren't gonna find you. So even if you can have a little bit of a budget monthly to go after some of these initiatives, content development, link building, technical SEO, kind of chipping off a little bit. I always say SEO is a process, it's not a project, so it is an ongoing battle. Google has over 200 different ranking algorithms that they use to rank websites, and then they'll go up and just change it one day. So just when you think you have a plan in place and you're ranking well for certain terms, 6 months later we might run a report, and all of a sudden we've dropped to the second page for some terms, and that could be really because of a change in Google's algorithm. And so just constantly staying on top of things. Like you mentioned, Pete, you didn't want to have to do that. That's why you hired a professional. That's the things that we're studying, that we know, and that we're applying to your website. An ongoing SEO program really allows a company to discover who the right people are to get your brand in front of, and then doing the right tasks to actually generate leads.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, your website really should be your best salesman.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten some leads, some really good leads, and our Google reviews have given us some new clients, which has been exciting, and we've been very happy with those results. And anything else that you'd like to add, Pete?
Well, I think you did a nice job of reminding me why I don't want to do this by myself. And I appreciate that, because we are not going to take it back in-house ever. It's just too much effort. And you've done a really great job for us, and we're really pleased with the results that we've gotten and the working relationship that we've gotten.
Great.
Likewise.
Hey, so Christy, how can someone get in touch with your company?
Well, you can Google me, or you can visit my website. It's nonnaseo.com. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for helping us.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.